pull the trigger, and endings on show, but on the road of
you're a good PI. I've met 6, and they're all fleas bags, you know, and you're the first one that's, you know, come through, and you know what I mean? So you're a good PI. You're a good PI. You're a good PI.
Mind you staying. Kurt Cobain. No safe fingerprints on shotgun. No one's on the pen which you wrote his note. The handwritings are not one too strong for suicide. The toe behind his long tearing screams, holding love and domino pain. That was a part of broken dreams. Music with passion and gain. In mind you're staying. Kurt Cobain. Only he knows what happened that night, but she let him go. Sacrifice. Who will still care if he was murdered or not? But we still remember this king of grunge and rock. In mind you're staying. Kurt Cobain. And there will be in mind you're staying. Kurt Cobain. And another murder. Kurt Cobain. And there will be in mind you're staying. Kurt Cobain. Kurt Cobain. And another murder again.
Project Unplugged is just one of many ways we are communicating the true facts and details of the events surrounding Kurt Cobain's death. Segment 2 will present the most relevant issues of this case in the form of an outline. To those who are already well informed, please be aware that we receive email from Cobain fans every day. Many are fans who have never heard or read anything but what they've been spoon-fed by misinformed media sources. Future segments will deal with more of the countless details that add to the ever-growing list of evidence indicating, then finally proving beyond a reasonable doubt that Kurt Cobain was murdered. While viewing and listening to the various segments of Project Unplugged, you'll occasionally see or hear a never-before-released photograph, video, or audio clip. These may be inserted briefly without explanation. We do this to send subtle visual and audio messages to those involved in the planning and carrying out of Kurt Cobain's murder. While you may not recognize the significance of some of these photos, videos, and audio clips, they will. We must continue to refrain from commenting about every single item of evidence in this case. If you don't understand the logic of that strategy, I hope you'll read the May 2009 update posted at www.cobaincase.com. Project Unplugged is not just an amateur video documentary. It's also a strategic component of an ongoing investigation. Courtney Love was facing a divorce. Kurt was in the process of leaving Courtney and Seattle when he was found dead. Courtney knew Kurt wanted out of the marriage. Just weeks prior to his death, she asked one of her attorneys to get the meanest, most vicious divorce lawyer she could find. Someone was using Kurt's credit card. One of Kurt's credit cards was missing when his body was discovered. Someone was attempting to use the missing credit card after Cobain died, but the attempt stopped when his body was discovered. Cobain was in fear of his life. The shotgun found at the scene was purchased before Cobain left for rehab in Los Angeles, not after he fled the rehab as reported by misinformed media sources. The shotgun was fully loaded with 3 shells. It was purchased and loaded for protection, not suicide. The police claimed there were no legible fingerprints on this shotgun. In fact, the shotgun wasn't even checked for fingerprints until May 6th, nearly 1 month after Cobain's body was found. This is one of many items indicating a very sloppy police investigation. There was no suicide note. The note found at the scene by the police was immediately labeled as a suicide note. The police report states it was apparently written to Cobain to his wife and daughter, explaining why he had killed himself. This note was not addressed to Kurt's wife and daughter, and it says nothing about killing himself. This note was written to Cobain's fans, telling them he was quitting the music business. There is a short footnote to Courtney and Francis, but the handwriting in those lines has been questioned by several handwriting experts. Courtney had another note from Kurt she kept in secret. Courtney was in possession of a second note after Kurt's body was found. She didn't tell anyone about this second note until several months later, when information about it slipped out during an interview with Rolling Stone magazine. The second note, the one that Courtney kept in secret, clearly defines the first note which was found at the scene of Cobain's death. The second note from Kurt plainly states he was leaving Courtney and leaving Seattle. He was not leaving the planet. Cobain was injected with 3 times a lethal dose of heroin. Kurt Cobain's heroin, or morphine, blood level was 1.52 milligrams per liter. This would require a minimum injection of 225 milligrams of heroin, 3 times a lethal dose, even for a hardcore heroin addict. The drug diazepam was also found in Cobain's blood system. This leads us to the 2 most obvious questions. If Cobain injected 3 times a lethal dose of heroin, could he then pick up a shotgun and shoot himself? Wouldn't he have been immediately incapacitated? Based on the heroin or morphine blood levels in Cobain's body, research indicates Kurt Cobain would have been immediately incapacitated. He could not have picked up that shotgun. He could not have pulled that trigger. The second question, and let's apply some simple logic here. If Cobain injected himself with a deliberate heroin overdose, why would he then grab a shotgun and shoot himself in the head before the heroin even had a chance to take effect? This would leave his baby daughter, the love of his life, with horrific visual images to remember him by, whether she ever saw his body or not. Why not just go to sleep peacefully on the overdose, knowing you're never going to wake up?
To find the cost of freedom for the fans of Kurt Cobain. You carry my torch, lo these many years. Time will come with patience, wisdom, and tears. My departure was theatrical. I meant it metaphorical. Turned out coldly literal, and now it's out of my hands. The puzzle's missing pieces will someday start to gel, and burdens heavy lifted from the ones on which they dwell. Till that time, tread easy, for I no longer cry, even though they took from me the freedom of goodbye.
And another murder again.